Why hello there, and I'm still here. I hope this video finds you very well. Today I'm bringing you the review of this, or, well, these, Penrose Otarida. These knives are designed by Penrose out of Switzerland, and OEM'd for them by Kubi, out of China. They are a smaller design company, though they did just drop their second design, which I'm actually going to be checking out in the very, very near future, and we'll have an unboxing of. If you want to check them out, I will have a link down below to both their site and Instagram. If you want to buy something, if you would click on and go through that website link down below, that would help out the channel. Should you buy something, I want to be open and... Dog? What the heck are you doing? Okay. I want to be open and straight about that. So, and I would, of course, appreciate it. I'd like to continue trying to bring you the latest and the greatest, right? As much as I can. And dog. Barking at nothing. I literally have no idea why he's doing that. He's in a room that he never goes into that has no windows or any possible way that he could see or hear anything that he's barking to bark at. So he's losing his mind. But, in fact, I'm going to go see why he's losing his mind. Hold on just a moment. Okay, the reason he's losing his mind is because he's a little fruit bat, but he's a nut job. But, oh, here he comes. Oh, Lord. Where was I? Yes, starting a review, hopefully, soon, of these Penrose Otarida. As usual, this review is off the cuff, no script, nothing like that. I've just sort of pick a knife and do the review. So, that's the style here. Let's get right into, or now eventually, get into the specs of these knives so we can actually start talking about them. I do apologize for the interruptions. Blade length, these should be exactly the same on the specs. The blade length is 3 inches and 1/8, so 3 point... what do we call that? We call that 3.125, right? 1/8 is 12.5. Yeah. 7.5 overall on the dot, which should make this pretty easily 4 3/8 on the handle. Okay, dokie then. Let's bring out our comparisons real fast. I'm going to speed things up. I just realized I've slowed down. My brain is foggy today. Lots of allergies. They have been kicking the crap out of me ever since. Well, they're always kicking the crap out of me. Who am I kidding them? I have allergies every second of every day, every minute of every day. Or whatever you want to say. But they are especially funky right now for some reason. Well, beginning of summer and all that, I suppose. Comparisons now. Small Civivi Elementum, full-size Civivi Conspirator. This thing falls pretty much almost directly in between the two, maybe slightly closer to the Civivi Elementum. It's a medium knife. It's not a full-on small knife, but it's certainly not a full-size either. I'll use the 2 AA batteries for grip length, as usual. As you can see, you have 2 AA batteries and more, like a third more, for grip length on the the flipper delete version. And in your standard grip position, you have 1 and about almost 2 AA batteries. Well, let's see. You're probably going to grip it around there, so let's call that 1 3/4 of 2 AA batteries in your standard position, but you still have a choke-up position, so you can definitely get more grip on there. I don't think you'll be having an issue, but of course, you'll definitely have more room on the non-flipper variant. Let's get those out of there. Let's do a weight of both of these. Let's see. Can we see that? Can you see that? Why is it focusing. Okay, there we go. 3.58 ounces. I think they're probably going to be 3.61. Yeah, so about 3.5 ounces. So not quite perfect ratios, but for a titanium frame lock, that's not bad. That's pretty reasonable ratios, honestly. Hardware, we have a T8 pivot and T8 everything else. Oh, that screw is a little loose. I have taken this one apart, so that's probably on me. T8. Love to see it, right? Who doesn't just want a simple T8 construction? Thicknesses. Let's get some thicknesses. 473 thousandths on the handle thickness, so under half an inch. With the clip, it is 638, so it seems pretty standard and reasonable. I've been noticing when I do with the clip in there, a lot of them come in that like 650 thousandths territory. 118 thousandths of an inch. Blade stock. I wonder if they were going for. Let's try the other one. Wonder if that comes in the same. Yeah, exactly the same. So 118 thousandths, I guess. Okay, sure. Interesting number, but whatever. Behind the edge. There we. No. That's up a little too far. 15 thousandths. How about this one? Just to double check that it's consistent-ish around both of them. Ah, this one is 14,000. So yeah, that's pretty consistent, I'd say. Alrighty then. I believe that comes to the end of our specs, doesn't it? Yeah. Unless I'm forgetting something. I feel like I'm forgetting something, but I just don't know. Alright, so let's just talk about these things. First of all, simple, straightforward, titanium frame lock, titanium clip, they have a backspacer, they are M390 blade steel, which is not going to be to everybody's taste, especially considering no company seems to be able to, or willing to, try to get M390 quite where everybody wants M390. I believe Kubi's have been typically around the 60 range, which is not ideal. For a super steel, you're not getting the most out of the steel, and you're not getting as much. Like, M390 doesn't get that much tougher by staying lower, but it definitely loses some ability to hold edge retention, which can be very high on this thing. You'll still get decent performance, it's a super steel still, but honestly, I'd like to see companies just kind of stop using it if they're not going to do it right, personally. Like S90V is a lot more forgiving and seems to be easier to get the heat treat to reasonable levels, and again, like I said, it's more forgiving in the sense that, yeah, I would love to see it at 62, but it's not going to be quite as bad if we see it at 60 to 61. So, I don't know. Personally, I do think just knives in general would probably be doing better off if they just stick to, like, S90V, or a little bit lower at the S35 territory, or, I mean, any other steel, right? Like, we've been seeing some uptick in Vanax, which is kind of nice, but that can be expensive. So, well, I say that, and, this may be the AZUSA or Azusa Blade Works Eldorado here, made by Migron for them, is in Vanax for $100. So maybe that's not even true anymore. But yeah, I don't know. I'd like to see something, maybe just like a phase out of M390 entirely, unless they're hitting it 62 to 63, and they know it, right? But it is what it is. It is still a super steel. It is still a premium steel. And it is probably one of the most common high-end steels that you're going to find. So, the value's there, but maybe not quite executed to the level we'd like to see. Though that, again, doesn't just apply to this knife. That applies to almost anyone that uses it. So, again, the knives are simple. Titanium frame locks on bearings, M390 blade steel. However, there are quite a few things about them that I have to say I found myself quite liking. Let's get into it and dive into the actual discussion about this thing. So we've got a sort of spear point, very close to a spear point, not quite symmetrical spear point, blade shape. I mean, you could also call it a drop point, but it's got a low grind, not a low grind, it's got a decently high grind. I personally like seeing my grinds at a little higher, like as high as possible. It would be kind of cool if they pushed it all the way up to here, personally. But for the aesthetic and everything that they're going for, okay. It's reasonably high. It's got some extra thickness at the tip. It does taper. I mean, the tip goes up a little bit, so that it would make sense. It's reasonably thin behind the edge. It does cut pretty well, and they actually came pretty darn sharp. Like, I have to admit, these are better than I've been seeing lately from some companies. As far as sharpness, they have a little tiny bit of bite, but they definitely feel like they've got a solid edge on them. The sharpening choil is, of course, huge. It's a finger choil, and the plunge grind is amazing. Great work there. Actuation methods, of course, are the aperture and the flipper, or just the aperture, depending on the variant. It has jimping up here, which is not the super thin, like, wire jimping that's great, but this jimping is also great. In fact, this jimping is excellent. It is very tacky and sticky, and it really grips you good. Very solid here. And I appreciate it, especially on the flipper variant, because, I mean, the choil's not the biggest. I'm definitely feel fine, and, like, I have room here. But at the same time, I don't completely feel like I couldn't move into the blade a little bit. However, this jimping grips you in such a good way that you really feel locked in. So, yeah, I don't feel like I'm going to have a problem going anywhere. This thing's got a lot of control because this jimping is very, very grippy, and it's very comparable and feels basically the same between the two, which is excellent. The detent is a tiny bit heavier on the non-flipper here, but pretty reasonable. They have very similar action. They feel very similar overall. Snappy, easy to actuate. Lock bar access is chamfered back just a little bit. It doesn't look like there's too much there, but it's actually more than enough to comfortably get your hand in there and disengage. And of course, neither one will get you on the way down because of where that choil is, even the non-flipper version. Stop pin's way up in here, so no problem with sharpening or anything like that. You can't touch the blade. Very nice. There is internal milling for weight reduction. This sort of radial ripple kind of pattern is very, very nice. It's pretty darn well executed. It looks nice. It adds really nice texture. I really appreciate the handles on these things. They're nicely done. They're very cleanly executed, and they feel really good. And I found myself just enjoying that a lot more than I thought I would, even though it's relatively simple. It's just, this really does do something. And it looks good while doing it, and it's got just a little bit of, like, sheen to it. So I quite like the handles on this thing. I also like the stonewash on the blade. It's a little bit hazy, but it's not like full reflectivity, but it plays nicely with the handles. It is centered. There is no play. This one, however, is not centered. Let's be straightforward. A reason I have two is because I originally ordered this one. And this one's a weird one. In fact, I spoke to the owner of Penrose, and Yeah, he agreed with me. This is a wonky one. So it can happen. My guess is something happened when they were machining the blade. Because if you actually look, you have, here's your end of your swedge right here, right? Oh, look where the end of the swedge is on that side. so, so it's kind of like completely off kilter. The blade is ground deeper, very much so, on one side than the other. I think the blade is still centered, and there is no play, but it's off center because the swedge is kind of weird. So my guess is when they were machining the thing and like maybe it shifted or something in the machine. So that can happen. I mean, we see it all the time on all different kinds of things. It's a weird one, but the second one that I got that replaced it is perfectly fine. So I'm not too concerned. This is just a little bit of a wonky one. However, functionally, it is still like perfect. It's mostly just the fact that the swedge is off from side to side. He was more than happy to send me a replacement, and I still have this one for the sake of review and everything. And honestly, I'm still using and carrying this one. It still functions fine. I like the knife, right? So, why am I saying so? Geared backspacer, pocket clip. I really like the pocket clip on this. It's very nice. It's got a satin on it, but it's nice and flat. It's rounded and chamfered just hard enough to be really comfortable. Like some I've been finding, they don't chamfer the edges of the pocket clip enough, and so it just feels like a hard angle sitting there. This one's got a pretty solid chamfer, as you can see, going on there. It's simple, it's straightforward, it works really well. It is pretty deep carry for a milled clip as well. You're going to get it down to about pretty much there. I mean, it can go a little deeper, but it's pretty much there is where you're going to get it sitting normally. Works really well, and it looks really nice, and it's very comfortable in the hand. Like, this clip is so comfortable it almost disappears completely. I mean, you kind of know that you're on a higher clip, but it's very comfortable, and pretty much the only place it's not super comfortable is you can find certain positions if you try to grip at a weird angle, because the clip has a curve to it. So if you try to grip like here, it's fine, but if you try to grip at the wrong spot, honestly, it's still pretty comfortable. So maybe it's just, yeah, no, it's just a good clip. It's a good clip. It's got good retention, good flex. I like the clip. I wish more companies would just do simple, well-executed clips that are... We don't need, like, points. Like, this has a point, yes, but it's because of that super rounding. We don't need points. We don't need weird shapes. We don't need anything. A nice, simple clip goes a long way for a lot of designs, in my opinion. Of course, that's just me. Let me know what your thoughts are on clips and stuff like that. I do need to say that I feel that I like the non-flipper, even though it's the one that's not centered. I like the non-flipper variant better than the flipper variant. For ergos, because it's just so much more open, it's just, well, it's more comfortable. It's more sort of choose your own adventure kind of thing, right? But the flipper version isn't bad. However, I will say that the flipper is not the most perfectly placed or anything. It's low in relation to the pivot, and between the detent on this particular one, I think if it had a slightly heavier detent, it might be a little bit better, but it's not bad. It's just, it works with the light switch, and it works really well with the push button, but that sort of middle ground that a lot of times I find myself doing, where it's kind of like that, it doesn't feel as authoritative. It gets out, as you can see. I'm like giving it no gas at all. Like, this is barely enough to break. It gets out there, so it's not a problem. It just doesn't feel as satisfying as like a really heavy flipper. But you can, of course, if you just give it a little bit more, it's fine. But for that reason, and just the ergos, I particularly like the non-flipper. I also like the look of the non-flipper. In fact, here is the box from the Penrose Otarida, Stonewash tie, and Stonewash M390. And as you can see, they're using what appears to be a seal, which I imagine Switzerland has a decent number of seals. Oh, and even says proudly manufactured by Kubi, signed in Switzerland. And there's their Instagram. Very convenient. Very convenient box. That's the Switzerland flag, right? Is their flag just that cross? I don't even remember. But we have a seal here, right? Clearly two seals. I mean, business seals, and kind of an aggressive one there. He just doesn't care. But for some reason, when I look at the non-flipper variant, I can see a seal. I can see, like, what they were going for here. You've got the shape kind of a seal, and then for some reason this little kick out here just reminds me of how the seal fins kind of kick out. I don't know why. I can see it and understand it, so I don't know. It just I like the aesthetic better on this non-flipper than the flipper variant. Personal things, right? But of course the flipper does offer an extra actuation method. And I personally like that snappy detent. This one's got it, but it's a little bit lighter. But not much, right? They're very consistent. Just a slight difference in detent. I mean, I could probably just push the lock bar, take it apart and push the lock bar on the other one, and it'd be probably feeling exactly the same, which is really a good thing, right? We want our knives to be as consistent as you can get them. So, overall, I really like the Penrose Otarida. It, I think it dropped at $220. It sits around $200 most of the time. I think it's on sale right now for $190. And titanium frame lock executed to this level, absolutely. This is a $200 knife all day. And it's very comparative and competitive with other $200 knives. In fact, arguably, fit and finish is a little bit better than you might find on your average $200 knife, I would say. And it's an OEM project, right? It's not like it's just Kubi's release. So, yeah, this is really solid. I quite like this. Totally worth checking out if you don't looking for a small yet premium feeling knife with some nice texturing and just some good qualities to it. And the guys at Penrose have been, or guy at Penrose, whatever, has been extremely pleasant to interact with. Very responsive. Good to see. And I appreciate that. So overall, good experience, and overall, I would say these are definitely good knives. If this is your thing, if you like this, and you have some different options here because of the non-flipper and everything, yeah, I'd consider checking this one out, actually. And use my link to do it. I'd appreciate that, but I mean, of course you don't have to. But, yeah, this is got the chamfers in the right places, got just the sleek look. I like it. I like it a lot more than I thought I would. Like, when I originally saw it with the flipper, the variant that came out, I was like, it's okay. It's nice. I would like that grind a little higher, but it's nice. But I wasn't sure about it. And then I saw that they were also doing a flipper delete, and I'm like, okay, I like that a little bit more, maybe, just in aesthetic. And then I said, you know what? I think this is something new and something interesting. And when I got it and checked it out, I've been more pleased than I expected with the design. So, that's a recommendation for me, and the end of the video. I thank you for watching. Consider liking and subscribing to the channel if you liked what you saw, want to see more. If you have any thoughts, any ways to improve, I would greatly appreciate any suggestions, right? I mean, I want to get better to provide better content for people. What do I need to do that? Do I need to make things quicker? Do I need to do something's, I don't know. Do I need to talk differently? I don't care. Just anything. I'm perfectly fine with hearing any criticism or anything like that. That will help me provide better, more interesting content. And, I don't know. Is there anything about the knife that I didn't cover that you want to hear? I am more than willing to hear and talk about that and stuff like that. So, let me know, and I will hopefully get better and better as time goes on. Until then, thank you for watching. Have a great day, and I'll see you later.